turn on, tune in, drop out.
Well, I feel very fine. And I see flashes of color. There's violet, and yellow. I see a lot of violet and yellow.
Everything is in color, and I can feel the air. I can see it. I can see all the molecules.
Good evening, boys and girls. Thank you very much for tuning in into a podcast about music, creativity, and life, Echo SPEKTRAS. So today in the studio we have a wonderful, one-of-a-kind producer, person, creative.
Appreciate
I
it,
don't
bro.
even
Thank
know,
you.
Asi, how to present you because you are such a broad person. You do everything, and what would be the best word to describe you?
Human, creator, lover, husband.
Okay, so man with many personalities in the
Yeah.
house, and we are today in the beautiful studio of Asis, where all the magic happens.
Yes, in Vilnius, on Gedemino, near Gedemino,
Okay,
on Jaksta.
so I'm really glad to be here, and Asi, thank you very much for letting us in. So
Pleasure.
today we're gonna talk about the newest single of Evgenya, which you worked on.
Evgenya, she's gonna kill you for that. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, Planeta, which is released on just this week.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna look into the session, how it looks, what makes the song great, and Asi gonna present us with a bit of insights into his creative process, into his what makes your mixing decisions, and
My philosophy in a sense. My
That's
music
true.
philosophy.
well, I still want to do the separate episode with you about
Yeah.
conspiracy theories in music industry.
Oh, okay. We can
let's-
get into that.
Yeah, let's wait for another episode. But
Yeah.
today is gonna be more about music, creativity, and just your workflow.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we didn't even get into the 440 hertz, no? Like the 432.
Yeah, let's leave it for another one.
Yeah, we didn't get into it.
Okay, so thank you very much for tuning in. This is Echo SPEKTRAS, and today we have the one and only Asi.
Thank you, pleasure.
Yeah, so let's dive into it. This is such a lovely studio, Asi. I guess, tell me how important for you is the space where you work at?
So this studio, I think it has a pretty long history. So before me, it was Rolandas Venskisi Nomine.
Yeah.
And before Rolandas, it was, I think, Golden Parasite. And before Golden Parasite, I'm not sure, but I think it also went backward, further. So yeah. And personally, for me, I don't know. I'm pretty new here, so I'm still getting used to working outside of home. We used to. I mean, all of our last albums, all of our music was done from home, as like in the extra room.
You mean the Davis?
Davis, SOS Deluxe, all the music I produced to other people too.
It was like a bedroom produced album, right?
Yeah,
Wow,
all of
crazy.
them, all of them. And the more I work outside of home, the more I realize that personally for me as a creator, I think creative environment it's important, like that it's like one space. It's like, it's like some kind of a cosmos you create. So ideally, I guess maybe you have a house and a garden, and then you have this garage or whatever studio you build in a garden. I think because it's hard for me to set time for creativity, right? I mean, in production, I would say 80% is kind of technical, but that's 20, 30, 50% of creativity. It's hard to put a time frame for it. So I remember my first days coming here to the studio, which was, again, pretty new, like 3 months ago. I would wake up in the morning and, okay, so now, what now? What do I do home? And then, okay, I have nothing to do home, right? It took me a week to realize that, but then, okay, coffee at home, and then I started finding my routines here. And I would get here, and some days I would come here and like, I don't feel it now. And you hear, it's under a school, so you hear some kids running around and like, Jesus Christ, man, this is like...
How is it for you? Is it a bit of a distraction, or is it working with your way of creating?
I don't know. I'm navigating. I'm navigating it. I think ideally I would want to have, as I was saying, like a house, temple, everything is happening in one place, big enough space. I mean, one of the main reasons we got out of home. I mean, it's pretty intensive for Evgenia, because you work on music. It's like all the time. Like
That's true. It's never stopping. Yeah.
Never stopping. And imagine before concert. So she needs to set her mind before the concert, like, to get into that state of mind. And all she hears in the background, the tick, 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 1, 2, pre-chorus, and man, she would lose it.
Yeah.
She would lose it. Now she have space, she has much more creative. So songwriting-wise, it's way better because she has much more freedom, much more quiet, much more peace, privacy. So songwriting, she's like much more open, and songwriting is happening in higher capacity now, I would say. And for me, production, I mean, yeah, it's way more convenient, maybe working outside of home, volume-wise, night, day, doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm still navigating and getting used to finding my way around it. If I'm coming here and I'm not feeling it, so I don't feel it, I walk around maybe the river, I go to get a coffee, just wander around the city until I feel it, and then I come back. Yeah, I don't like to push creativity. I don't like to force it, because then the music is not honest enough. I believe it has to be honest. It has to have its timing. So yeah.
It's a very good thing you covered now about honesty in music. Just one last remark about facing the camera.
Yeah.
If it's comfortable for you here.
I can easily face the camera. Yeah, but like that. But then I don't look at you.
No, that's great. Like
okay,
that's great.
okay,
Just
okay.
let's try not to face a laptop too much.
Yeah, easy.
But yeah, you look comfortable. Well,
I'm comfy.
I was thinking maybe we should put the camera over there.
I don't know. It's okay.
It's okay for you?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, that's
fine,
nice.
It's fine.
Okay, let's get back to
Yeah.
the honesty in music.
Yeah.
How would you feel? Okay, the question would be, how do you approach the music, as you say, with a clear mind, with the clear intentions? And when do you feel the music you're making, it's not honest enough? Do you have some sort of like a threshold, or how does it work?
I mean, it depends on the genre. So let's say it's a vocal-driven genre, like pop. I mean, most genres, right? Like let's say lead vocal, it's all about that, right? The song, the singer. So the lead element is what dictates, I would say, the honesty, the emotion. Yeah. So vocalist singing. Like singing with the right emotion, with the right intention, with the right transparency, it makes the song happen. And and everything happens accordingly. So if the vocal is honest and you hear like a chord that is not right or stuff like that, so then you change stuff. It's easy.
You work around the vocals.
Yeah. Vocal is God. Vocal is God. That's the message. That's the message. And I don't know, but I believe that most people, they hear the vocal, either as a melody, either as with a lyrical context, but they listen to the vocal. They listen to the lead element. And if the lead element at some point will be a lead guitar, so the lead guitar has to be honest. Whoever leads has to be honest. And also in live performances, I always say that, like if a guitar is going into a lead or keyboard, synth, whatever, everybody has to pick up from the person that ended before. So if Evgenia finished her part and now a guitar has to pick it, so the guitar has to pick it from her. So it can change according to how Evgenia was presenting the part before, or whoever singer was it. Yeah, so honesty is, I would say, is the most important thing in music. Transparency. This is why I believe that music producers, they have to be they have to have empathy. And some certain level of emotional intelligence, because when you work with artists, eventually singing, recording, it's a very naked process, and the singer has to take all of his layer and he need to go naked. He need to show himself, you know. And good singers, good artists, they've been through that. They passed it, but some artists not. Everybody have a different process. And so yeah, part of the job I would say is to push. It's to recognize if something is honest or not. Not to be judgy, but still to push the singer to be honest enough.
Asi, let's talk about honesty in music.
Yeah.
You mentioned emotional part of recognizing the honesty in music.
Right.
And then you mentioned technical honesty. What does it mean?
I don't know if you can even put it that way. I think I'm maybe inventing a term here. No, I think what makes a good producer a good producer? Like, I mean, on the like, if you take off all the layers and all the like, just in the bottom line, I think it's eventually a good producer have a good sense of aesthetics. He understands beauty, right? Symmetry. You have good sense of like taste and flavor. You understand the market. You understand the artist. So the technical honesty would be sound choosing. You know, sometimes, let's say you want to make a pop song, and let's say there is maybe a trend of a trappy clap, right? And that everybody will go to. So, and you see, like with the different eras, like different years, like you literally hear it's the same sounds in all the songs, and that is lack of honesty, because if you're not allowing to choose the right sound for the song, so how do you, like, you have to be honest. And like, maybe you hear the song and maybe rather than going to right into a clap because it's like trendy, maybe try something more organic. And I saw it with myself in the first album we made for Evgenya, Davis album. I had the least knowledge, basically, if I'm looking at all the past more than a decade. So I had the least knowledge, and that lack of knowledge allowed me to have no borders. So I would use all the sounds that were in the album were all recorded either, you know, in the studio, recorded like sounds. Either I would catch sounds outside through the phone, like with the iPhone recording. I didn't care about what it means. It just, it sounds right, let's put it in, you know? And the more time passed in the second album, the SOS album, I all of a sudden start doubting that idea. Like,
oh, wow.
Why do I use such an alternative sounds? Why can't I just go simple, you know? Like, why our music has to sound so different?
Yeah.
I saw it as like, not necessarily as a strength. Now I see it as a strength, but before I saw it as, why just not making it simple, you know? Not using that common sound. Because I did like to hear it. Like, I did like to, I don't know, play some Drake song, which is pop, and it has that really simple, like one vocal line, one like very simple beat, like very monotonic. It just runs a loop throughout the whole song, and I loved it. I love that sense of simplicity, and so yeah. So that was the second album, and
so two very different approaches and
different
very
approaches.
different mindsets for
Yes.
the albums. Two albums which spanned what, like two years time?
Well, so SOS was already 2 years ago. Davis is more like 4 years ago.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
2 years time.
Yeah.
And you can probably look back and trace yourself, like making those decisions and getting back to that mindset, which led to making particular decisions on the spot.
It's all evolution. It's all like an ongoing process of learning.
So
And-
where are you now after this like journey through to Evgenya's album, many more artists you work with?
Yeah.
So how do you feel now?
I personally find it that the more I know, the more I'm in my head.
Okay.
So let's say if I had a few projects that required more understanding of harmony, and the song we did in Christmas with Vairas Bomila and Evgenia, Not Avas Pikloso. And I had that vision, like Evgenia wrote a song, it sounded beautiful, but it was too sweet for me, too poppy. And I was like, okay, let's make it. So we worked with our keyboard player, Martinez, and I told him, look, man, I wanna have that vibe that like every chord is changing throughout the whole song. I want continuous change. I want it to be like a classic, like unlimited. And it was all right. And we really went for it. It sounded beautiful. I loved it. Then we recorded Vidas, and we recorded this Vidas. We recorded this like third harmony, yeah, right? Lower harmony. Evgenya takes the main lead harmony, and Vidas taking that third harmony. And there was one chord that it's clashed with.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, shit, what do we do? And I brought Martinez again, and he's like, man, change the harmony. I'm like, no, we changing the chord. But you know, it's a chain reaction because you change the piano, then you change the strings, then you change everything.
And the emotion kind of like settles up in total different space.
I mean,
right?
in the same point, you think, oh my God, it's so different. But I mean, you release attachment, and everything is okay. Everything is okay. It worked out. It's beautiful. I would never even recognize where was that change. But yeah. So, my point is that this kind of stuff introduced me into like how theory can get really complicated. So how come like this third harmony works throughout 80% of the chords, but not on one chord, right? Theory. And theory is not my strong part, because I'm an emotional creator. I create by emotion. I don't judge things if it's correctly. If it makes me feel, you know? That's how I judge everything related to music and in art. Does it make me feel? Happy, sad, angry, whatever emotion it makes me, it's good.
Yeah, you're selling emotion. You're not
Yes.
selling a perfect harmony or
Yes.
perfect like structure song. You're
Right.
selling the emotion, yeah.
Right. I mean, many people would argue that, right? Like, I mean, because an AI can make a song and it will make some people feel. So maybe emotion is not something we create. Maybe emotion is something a third party interprets. So I don't know. But
That's a really interesting one.
Yeah.
Let's dive into AI, yeah. Let's dive into AI.
all right.
That's a really interesting point you're making of actually the third layer, which would be the interpreter,
Right.
the actual listener,
Yeah.
who has some sort of like a emotional baggage
Right.
behind him,
Right.
and then your music sort of like triggers particular kind of like sensoric areas or emotions,
Right.
and it makes an attachment to a song.
Right.
So is this the strongest part of people versus AI in music?
But that's the thing. What really makes a person feel? Like, how come, for example, I believe you have some songs that truly made you feel something when you were 15, and a year passed and they don't make you feel anymore? The song didn't change, you changed. So I think it's impossible to control the audience. I think that's why art creation, in a way, it's very selfish, and it should be. While creating, I think it's very important to not think about anybody else. Definitely not in the writing process, arrangement, composition. Maybe if you're deciding for how long the bridge or how long the final chorus, or maybe if you want to squeeze it into a radio for 3.5 minutes and stuff like that, maybe some technicality can come in and like kind of, glue it together. But other than that, so that's with the thought of radio, the thought of commercial, from strategic point of view. But while creating, I think it has to be extremely selfish. You just think about yourself, what you like, what makes you feel. I think that's extremely important, and I hope people do that. I hope people work in that way. People tend to get it all the time other way around. We live in a society where we tend to please everybody, right? To be politically correct and say hello, even if we don't feel necessarily happy. But we need to say hello, or, it's more intimate, but even in a sexual sense, right? Like, so the guy will think of of his partner, or how do I make her enjoy? And the partner think about the other side, how do I make him enjoy? And they lose the whole point. Each individual has to think about himself, and together they create the harmony. And so I don't have control over how a person gonna react to music, or if he gonna like a certain guitar sound or a drum, or if he likes the topic or whatever it is. But I know that I like it. I know that I wanna say it. And I just say it in the most transparent, honest way I can. And from that moment, as soon as that's done, and the song was mixed and mastered and went out to the world, it's not mine anymore. It's already for people to decide what it is. And that's, I think, that's chain of exchange. And then you get some kind of feedback, some kind of emotional reward, maybe if people liked it and if people connected with it. You know, a lot of times, not a lot, most of the time, I would say, people interpret the song message different than what we initially intended.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
most of the time. Because people, again, they interpret, they associate it to whatever they feel at that time, or, you know. So when we released Patugu, okay, Patugu and Malo Masu Shmego. So how comfortable? We fell asleep on a lie. There is so much we want to say, but we are not saying, something like that.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it felt like we are talking about a relationship, you know. And but it wasn't that. It was way broader. It was a little bit even conspiracy in a sense of, like, you know, how we are being lied to by the media, by the elite, by the
Wow, it's much deeper. Wow.
way deeper. And the thing is that I'm not feeling judgy towards people for taking it as a relationship song. Maybe it's about a couple. I think it's beautiful. I think it's incredible. It's amazing.
Layers.
Yes.
That's the beauty.
Make it whatever you want. It's not mine anymore. It's yours. You know. So whatever it means for you, that's what it means. It's amazing.
Wow.
But we were still honest in the process. So.
Well, I really respect, Asi, your honesty in music. And that was such a surprise for me to hear the true meaning of Potogo. Wow, I'm a huge conspiracy fan. I think we can dive into conspiracies now,
man.
but let's leave it for probably later episodes. Okay, just a small conspiracy. So, okay, AI music. There's a Suno AI, there's a audio.
Yeah.
Okay, I tried those things like a few months ago. You just prompted like a radio-friendly song, female vocals, retro 80s vibe. And okay, what you're getting is basically Dua Lipa stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're realizing, man, this is like straight radio-ready song to
Black
go.
Mirror vibes.
Black Mirror stuff. And then, okay, I have conspiracy. Then these tools we have now available for public beta has been available for huge labels like 5 years ago. I'm truly believing in that.
What, more than that, like, as a fact, like, Spotify are generated organically with AI. Like, they generate songs themselves which are promoted in playlists. So all the revenue, where is it going?
Sweden?
You know? And now I think Universal are did a collaboration with a company that they give them all the data of the vocals of all the artists signed. The artists had to approve that, of course, and this AI tool is processing the vocals, and then they can make songs without the artist. So
that's say huge savings for the labels. That's
huge
for sure.
savings. And I saw FKA Twigs went to court in Britain about the topic.
That was the case.
That's where I got the perspective, because I was always wondering, like, how is AI gonna truly affect? Okay, so we know that, like, okay, you can generate song, right? But the narrative she was talking about, which I didn't think about, was that AI, actually, we say artificial intelligence, but it's not exactly artificial intelligence. It's not exactly intelligent because it doesn't think on its own, right? It needs data to think.
Yeah.
So it's not fully intelligent. Intelligent operates on its own. So I don't fully even agree with the term, but anyway. So if AI reference something, right? He uses data. So how do I know if he didn't use my song as a reference? And if he did use my song, how do I get the royalties? How do I have control over that? So I think it's a topic that's gonna
That's a hot topic, yeah.
that's gonna evolve. I mean, we are here in Lithuania. Come on, like it's. What are you gonna do? Like I mean, it's too small of a market. Like the bigger markets, we're gonna see all the big events gonna happen there. You know, Lithuania and all the small markets, they're gonna be the last ones to really be affected by it.
We're gonna just get a wave after.
Yeah.
But still, the global scene definitely will be affected as Lithuania market as well.
Yeah.
In terms of like in the future.
Maybe, you know, I have this naive thought
Okay.
that there are always changes. Now we're talking about changes of an AI, right? Like introducing into music industry and whatever it does, pros, cons, whatever. Because I mean, we can see a lot of pros, all of these AI tools that you can like voice to instrument. You know, I can record my vocal and it can sound like a violin, and like or a trumpet, which is incredible. I mean, so it does give us a lot of flexibility, which is amazing. But I don't know. I believe that we evolve, we change, things are happening, and we make the best out of it. We navigate through it and we do the best. It's like maybe 20 years ago, if you will talk with some producers about the concept of me sitting here with iMac and like just audio interface and a preamp, they will say, oh, it's like not professional. Like, yet we are doing music. We have that access, right? I don't need to buy all of these racks. I can use just plugins. So I'm convinced that they said that it's very bad. Oh, how you use digital, like analog is the shit, right? Like how do you use digital? It's just more convenient, right? Way less expensive. It gives me access. I can make an album without selling my house, right? So is it bad or is it good? 20 years ago, it was very bad for people talking about it. Same topic of social media. Is it good, is it bad? Of course, there is good, there is bad, but creation, growth is positive. The opposite of positive is like, you know, when things are going down, when things are not happening or staying in the same line, that's negative. It's like even in creation, if you put a seed and it doesn't grow, it's not positive. If it grows, it's positive. So any growth is positive.
So would you say the industry after the COVID times, is it really much evolving or is it staying in one place and kind of like stagnating?
Industry, you mean as a whole, like worldwide, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care. Like, I keep hearing incredible new artists, keep pumping up, young, olders, whatever. There is new music, it's evolving, it grows, people have access, people have, it's so easy to communicate, to send, to distribute, to make, you know, videos, visual, cameras are so accessed, everything is so accessible. It's positive, I see it as a good thing. I don't know.
So probably, as you say, the most valuable skill for a producer is the honesty. What would you say the most valuable skill for musician overall would be in the future, in the next 5 years?
I mean, there is that concept with AI and in general with technology development. There is this Israeli philosopher. He wrote this.
Yeah, the curve.
He wrote this book, Sapiens, as well.
Yeah.
And he wrote another book. So he was talking about. He talked about this concept of useless class, right? So he was talking about all of the like taxi driver, truck drivers that they will be exchanged by just automated machines.
Yeah.
And so there is a useless class, which probably the solution for that as a society would be that the government will have like a minimal payment for these families.
Yeah.
I don't think you can, I hope not, but I truly don't. I mean, come on, we're already replacing musicians. If I want to go for a concert now, and let's say I don't have budget to pay musicians, I can just put playback. Right, I can connect it, I play it, we have a singer and that's it, it's done.
And usually it will sound better with
way better.
all like nuances of
perfect.
Yeah, live show in mind.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, and when me and Evgenya started doing music and we had our project Pi X, I mean, we were like, it was like a kind of an orgy of equipment on stage. So like, I mean, the SPD and like some pads and some, oh my God, and Ableton and
It
some...
took a few hours just to plug in, yeah, right?
Oh yeah. And everything is synced with everything. So Evgenya's keyboard can loop into my laptop and everything was integrated. So that's like, and to pull this off with musician will take like maybe, I don't know, 6-7 people. But technology allowed us to do it. I see it, I don't know, so I think you can never truly, and for example, this Rolly, this keyboard behind you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 5-dimensional, right? So you can do glides and stuff like that. So it can replace guitarist, right? A keyboard can replace.
That's fine, yeah, let's keep rolling, yeah, we still have that one.
And then you have bass, keyboard can also play bass, like, right? Like, I mean, crowd would never hear the difference between bass plate from...
Yeah, and VST.
Come on, never. I don't know. I heard some interesting perspective recently about how literally about 150 years ago, about 100 years ago,
Okay.
the only way for you to consume music was to go out and listen to it. Like, for example, paintings were already captured way before that, color. Right, so a person can do it in one space and then show it in another space. But with music, you have to go.
To be in the
you have to be in the
yeah,
place.
In the place, yeah.
And then when recording started, so it was all about capturing that live sound, like as it makes the people feel on the stage, right? When they listen to it. So it was replicating that feeling. And then slowly it started evolving. And now we are making music in a perfect environment and trying to replicate it into live, which is totally other way around, which really blew my mind hearing about it. I never thought about it even. And good or bad, I don't know. But I do know that it's extremely challenging to replicate a song that was produced. It's extremely challenging. It's a different state of mind. And it's always ending up in really adjusting a lot and changing it, making it more lively, like really breaking it down, maybe sometimes changing tempos, changing sometimes some arrangement, but yeah.
Bringing the liveness and organic elements, as you say, and honesty to it.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, Asi, thank you very much. I would like to go much more deeper into like music business and conspiracy behind it.
Yeah.
Conspiracies, but for now, I think let's dive into a mix of your newest single,
Okay.
Planeta.
Just the mix, or you mean the project?
Let's dive into the project, yeah.
All right. Yes, sir.
Just a quick one. Recording on tape.
Yeah.
How does it change your mental state before the recording session?
So that's what, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about it, yeah.
So I believe it's one of the reasons music was more transparent back then, right? You have this one take, it is what it is, and that's a print of yourself at that given moment.
Yeah.
And in the same time, because of that, so the culture of musician and the culture of recording fundamentally changed. Going to a session, and I remember hearing a back vocalist, an old back vocalist was talking about it, of how going to sessions, how they would set their minds the evening before. You know, first of all, they practice their part. Vocalist, I mean, pitch, working on pitch, it would be really, really intensive, you know? They would do it with the breathing techniques and like with the workouts, and they would really work on pitch.
Yeah. Just to make sure you do
it right.
Yeah, and you don't run.
Yeah, because if you record, like, let's say 20 people, let's say you have a brass section, you know, 2 guitars, bass, string like a string quartet or whatever, big band maybe vibe, like. You don't want to be that person that fucks the take. You don't want to be that person. So and nowadays you have musicians. I mean, you know, they run in between rehearsals, life, family, and they just getting into a studio session. Oh, what do we need to do today? You play to them. Okay. Or maybe you send it to them before. They check it a little bit, but they're not gonna give you that perfect take. And so I think music changed in that way.
Getting back to that honesty in the record, right?
Yeah. So musicians would really, really drill their parts. As I was saying, you don't want to be the person that fucks the take. and musicians were extremely in extreme high level. And I had this awesome perspective about, actually it's something I never thought about. If you're thinking in percents, yeah, in percents, 90% is really good, right? It's a good result.
Yeah.
And academic musicians even, like if they would get 90, they're good musicians. Yet 10% of mistakes is quite a lot. Like in life, the expectation for musician is almost impossible. Because 10% in a live show for, let's say, trained ears, like a person that understands music a little bit, maybe more, 10% is quite disturbing. You know, you hear the vocalist maybe, I don't know how you can calculate, like 10% out of a 4-minute song, it will be about maybe 20 seconds or something.
Yeah.
So, you know, a little bit pitchy vocal, maybe guitar plays a few wrong notes here and there, bass maybe we got it wrong at some point, maybe a few kicks are missing or a few crashes are missing from the drums, etc., etc., etc. And it's not the best. It's not the best. So for me, it will trigger me live. That 10% will trigger me. It's like,
Still not that.
not that. It's not that. And so,
There's the perfect musicians,
But
and
it's
there's
not-
the Aussies perfect musicians.
but it's not fair. But it's not fair because it's impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Impossible standards.
Yeah.
Impossible standards. And I feel like but musicians back then, they were nailing the standard. They were kicking it. They were kicking it. Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the
Let's
session.
jump into that. So we talked about drums, yeah?
Yeah, what makes up the drum groove
So
in Planeta?
let's start, let's put a loop, we said on the chorus. Chorus loop. Chorus loop.
Okay.
There we shake it.
That snare, I just can't unhear the don't stop till we get enough. The MG.
Don't stop. Did you get it?
Even that syncope before the bar.
And I use this another layer of snare, you see,
Yeah.
because there are like 4,
That's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 snares, right? So these are some details, some rolls and stuff like here.
Yeah, roll.
What else?
Adds
Snare.
organic elements to it, right?
Some snares that I took the same snare, I cut it,
Yeah.
like maybe cut half of it, and it just give a tiny bit different texture.
Yes.
Stuff like that, you know?
That sounds like well-programmed drums.
Yeah, and then on top of that,
Really
I have-
live and organic. Is this a live hat?
I don't know why, but I did.
Makes more interesting.
Well, I wanted it to be on the right
Yeah.
side, so. I put some imager on top, made it more narrow, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made it more narrow. Wider was too distracting. Some EQ. So that's it, the groove is there.
Yeah, the groove is that.
And specifically, I think I wanted the clave. Because I think the genre kind of
Ask for it.
asked for it. Yeah. It asked for it. It's happier right away. It's happier right away, no?
Yeah, true, true.
Right away.
Sunny Brazilian clave in the
Yeah,
mix.
Let it run because it's clashing. You know, there is something in drums. There are many different approaches. Like some people, I mean, most of the time when a producer would go into live sounding drums, they will try to make it realistic sounding.
Yeah.
But I think that's where rules are start applying. Why? Like I don't care. Does it make me feel? That's always my question. Does it make me feel? Not does it sound realistic or not? Does it make me feel? So this congas made me feel. Right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, the project not managing to run it.
That's a huge ass project.
No, but it's all good. It should.
Maybe-
This is the full drum, so we set congas, crashes. And
Vibey drums.
Vibey drums, they're like, man, like, okay, look how many claps.
Clap effects. Okay,
Clap
this is the
effects.
most clap effects I ever seen.
Yeah.
This is like what, 10 tracks of clap effects?
Because for me, every millisecond is important, right? So nothing can be, like it's music, it's alive, nothing can repeat, it can be a loop. So if you listen, there is always something happen,
Yeah.
always.
Something interesting to an ear. There you go. Clap effect.
Always.
And then
Yeah. And in the chorus, I didn't like the idea was to get rid a little bit of the vacuum of that stop.
yeah,
So it's like to keep it moving. So
Keep
the
it flowing
the
and
tambourine
moving, yeah.
helps it,
yeah,
but also the bass is playing a little bit more.
yeah. The fills. It's talking, yeah.
Yeah.
And probably it does make sense with the vocals on it, right?
Let's see.
Yeah, it feels like it's following the vocal line and
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
and building upon it.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I worked on the song, my favorite part. So Thomas the Tunas,
Yeah.
genius Thomas the Tunas was
Okay, the legendary Thomas
He
the
was
Tunas.
he was playing the keys, guitar. He gave a lot of perspective on that song. He was really collaborating with me on this one. I was really grateful for that because, well, he made it harder for me too because you know you're working with such a talented people. Like I mean, this guitar it just came out to him so naturally, you know, like on the spot. And you know when you're working with people with so much knowledge, it pushes you. It pushes you. It pushes you to you want to do better. So yeah, and this I could listen to this loop forever.
Solid. That chicken picking guitar, like a middle Stratocaster pick.
Amazing.
Very tight.
And there is another. So he did another guitar that is some kind of like that, and I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
It was a hidden track even.
Okay.
And then just somewhere towards the end, I was like, "Oh, what is that?" And then I couldn't like I had to use it. It's so small. I just chopped it. Maybe second chorus would be a better example. of
Okay.
it. This yeah.
Yeah, I call it
here.
chicken picking.
Chicken picking.
Yeah, chicken picking.
So this
Such an airworm.
So that's the left one, and then there is the right.
Okay.
And it all correlates wonderfully with this one.
Complementing each other.
Yeah. And I did it from a decision for like an ear candy. You know, it's
Very ear candy.
It's triggering the sides. It makes you feel like it's wider.
Yeah.
And then all of this together just really complement it.
Right place, right time. Thomas the Tunas.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Oh,
sweet
that's
guitar.
yours. That's your guitar.
Oh, that's a
you read the
wah.
wah. Yeah, the wah is yours.
That adds up, yeah. That complements. Tropical stuff, yeah.
Because this specific guitar line is playing together with vocal. Evgenia is a genius when it comes to back vocal because she can really push her vocal into different directions. So, for example, that will be one
One
style.
color, right?
Yeah. Right. So this is that,
Okay.
and then you have this kind of back vocal she would do.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Different
And-
genre.
Yeah. And then you have these ones. Really like strong with a strong auto tune. It just has a layer below. And that's another one. These are quite similar. And
Okay,
these
radio stuff, yeah.
And these are just supporting the lead vocal.
Yep. Oh, that's a totally different one.
Yes. But
Nasally
together,
and
the
choir. Yeah, let's hear
that.
that. Yes, choir.
Like, these are the type of stuff I always like to do.
Yeah.
Like manipulate the shit out of whatever it is. So this one, for example, it's
Can we listen it on the solo?
Yeah.
Is this like vocoder stuff or
No.
what's that?
So that's, for example, what is it? I called it Vox Lead Effects Reverb. So. It's not even about understandable.
Sounds like a guitar, distorted guitar.
Yeah. So I put auto-tune on it. I put
Heavy processed vocal, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I put some, and then we have all of these vocals that here, for example,
Just
vocals,
build it
but
up a bit.
more staccato. Little
Very percussive
bit, yeah,
vocals.
to push
Okay.
the bridge more, to push
Yeah.
that.
Che t'han versato sgalla, temo su planeta. Che t'han versato sgalla.
And I think I even put an envelope on them as well to reduce all that, like,
To make it really rhythmical.
yeah.
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 To make it percussive.
Temo su planeta. Che t'han versato sgalla, temo su planeta.
That's the build-up section. There you go.
Yeah, so that with
Yeah.
with the drums and bass.
Let's hear it with the drums, yeah.
Che t'han versato sgalla, temo su planeta. Che t'han versato sgalla, temo su planeta. Che t'han versato sgalla.
This one for the crowd. This one is for the crowd, for sure. Drop down.
Folder I call instrumental details. That's the ether.
Oh, ether. Okay, let's
Yeah.
have a listen for the ether. What's in between the
Let's
spaces?
take off the vocals maybe and
Yep.
maybe just the ether. Okay, so that's in the chorus.
Yep. Oh, I see it. Ear candies.
But you don't hear them. They're there.
Creating the color.
Yeah, like giving a little bit emotion.
Yeah. Yes.
Every sound is really manipulated. You see, that's and like, for example, connection to the pre-chorus. Okay, strings.
Yeah.
Strings we have here. I use the Logic.
How did you approach the strings?
Well, it was like for example, there were some melodies and some melodies that were okay. That's definitely like a violin. And then, for example, Thomas, from his perspective, it was a little bit more from his knowledge. Okay, like it should be violin for that type of genre.
Yeah.
And it was kind of more centered me towards that. We also did with him. I had this idea for the run, making this run going into the coast.
Well, yeah, the runs are the most.
Are the must. And then at some point I was in a place that I had to figure out how do I get that sound like realistic. But I was a little bit in my head actually on this one. I was trying to make it realistic, and then at some point I was like, what am I doing? Just make yourself feel it.
Yeah.
So, because Logic strings didn't make me feel, so it sounds like that. Like a little bit, it didn't make me feel.
Okay. So what did
and
you
then
end up with?
And then I used Spitfire, that made me a little bit more feeling. So that's okay. Okay, that already has that aggression, grip.
Aggressive studio strings, that's for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I added one violin from another library of Spitfire that is also aggressive, but a little bit more alternative sounding. And then there are all of these hooks in the middle. And there is this long line. The guitar on.
Yeah. There you go, the disco one. We're in the disco now.
And there is a feeling, and that's the most important.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the brass. So the brass is also live brass that we recorded.
Yeah.
With also a really talented guy from Kaunas, Odrus. And it's actually pretty phenomenal. He plays saxophone, trombone, and trumpet, all different techniques. And he's like playing this whole damn thing. So we recorded also the brass. And I layered it with actually Logic.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Sounds funky for sure.
Yeah, and Then you have all the keys and stuff.
Yeah. What's a bright piano?
Yeah, so this is like 5 different keys layered
Okay, layers
together.
again.
Yeah, layering is the name of the game. Layering is the name of the game. Rather than getting somewhere with one sound. I love layering. But again, I think it's like it's all about layering without people to think, oh, it's 5,000 keys, you know? When you hear it, it sounds like 1, even though it's 4.
Yeah. It's one bright piano, yeah.
Yeah.
It just takes 5 different VSTs together.
Yeah, so that's like a piano,
Yeah.
classic. And on top of that is this.
Very bright one.
And on top of that,
Oh, the very digital, like DX7,
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So we have the full Spectre covered.
And then on top of that, there is a bell, like a more kind of toy piano style. For me, this is like the character,
Yeah.
like already. Just piano and the bell. And
Very
the oth-
disco, sparkly,
Yeah.
kind of dance floor.
And the other one for texture. They give some grit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that, we have like some pads, playing slightly different. This for me is a classic future retro. I mean, it's a new genre because...
Yeah, it's a future retro.
But it's just future retro. It's like futuristic elements that can only be done like that we are doing now. Like, you know, it's like I'm layering VSTs like that sounds pretty digital with like organic raw sounds. So, and for me, that's like future retro. It's the best of all the worlds. Yeah.
Great production, honestly. Great
So
production.
This sound is really important on the brass. Really important.
Yeah, adds the vibe.
Yeah. And what else do we have? We have a whole group, you know, whole folder of ad-libs. For example, the most dominating is in the very end of the song.
Okay, yeah. Let's have a listen now.
So let's do it with, for
This is
example,
the very last chorus.
yeah, that's the last post-chorus.
Okay. Again, just vibing.
Just vibe.
Just vibing along, yeah. Yeah, probably you just can't sit still with the song playing.
Yeah, and we always do that. We in the beginning I mean sometimes we have some riffs that like when we make
Comes
in
up,
the
yeah.
song it's like that's the riff for that moment.
Yeah.
And sometimes we know that we want to fill up some spaces and we're not sure. And Evgenya used to not like improvising, but now she's just like getting the headphones, play a recording, and she's just going for it. It's a part of maturity because a lot of people are scared of this improvising because they're gonna do mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna be pitchy.
But we are not on the tape.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about
But
making
still,
mistakes.
man, still,
Yeah.
it's not easy. It's not easy. Not easy for singers. Michael
I would
Jackson
love to
vibes.
hear those shouts really up in the mix. Yeah, really vibe. That's really getting in there.
And then we had this one, for example.
Is it together with the guitar?
No, this. It goes on the tune, 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 tune,
Okay.
and so.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes like.
Okay, yeah,
With the
it's
strings,
following the strings. Beautiful.
So these are all ellipses, and that's why I do them separately because each one of them is processed slightly differently.
Yeah.
You see, that's why it's like it was Kelayon just like ooh ooh ooh, Kelayon just like ooh ooh ooh.
Okay, yeah, it's continuing the line.
Yeah, but then it was too long, so we just cut Kelayon just like ooh ooh ooh, and we just kept the ooh.
Yeah.
Una vez, una vez, no fue eso. Pa' con
Yeah.
Verse 1.
Okay.
Bass, drums, okay?
Yeah.
Basics. Instrumental. No instrumental, it's guitars here.
Building up the groove.
Yeah. And then the ether, the instrumental details that I call it.
Yeah, the cosmic energy.
And then brass.
The riffs are coming in. Okay, building up to the chorus.
And then without crashing, let's
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, the soundtrack is there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all full.
It's ready for the vocals to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
be put on. Everything is on, yeah.
It's one of the things like I think that is quite characteristics in my productions. I think it's a mix of reasons why I do it, but I feel like if you will jam with a person, like you won't let quiet moments, you know, like there will always be something.
Yeah, and something in between.
There is always something, and even if you're looking at this jam session, there is imagine flamenco, yeah. There is always something.
Yeah.
Always. I think the magic is, and that's also happened during the mixing process, is that again, vocal is God, right? So as long as you're not distracted from the vocal, it's all good, you know. But so this is a question. For example, on a technical level, this is a question I ask myself all the time: am I being distracted from the lead vocal?
Yeah.
You know. If the answer is not definite, I don't know.
Let's put it in ether.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You just listen to the vocal, right?
Yeah.
You weren't distracted. Now, okay. And focus. And then back to focus. So it's like there is constant relationship.
Call and response in between the vocals and the rest of the soundtrack.
Yes, and everything is correlated. Guitars relates to bass, bass relates to drums. Everything is correlated, so everything has to work together. Yet vocal has to continuously lead. It's a tricky job, especially in this genre. Like so much is happening. Like
I see. So thank you very much for showing this tricky job for us.
My pleasure.
Man, thank you very much. I hope your iMac will stay cool throughout the night.
That's
I
it,
know
it's
this is a
gonna-
heavy project.
Yeah.
I congratulate you with release. This is an amazing song, and I'm really happy that you put it out there.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for showing this to the camera, to us. And
Peace out.
peace out. I think,
Yeah.
we can say goodbye. So that was Asi and Kypros, and thank you very much for watching Echo SPEKTRAS.
Echo SPEKTRAS. Okay, I
Echo
didn't know
SPEKTRAS.
about that. But
Yeah, we will do a short run beforehand. Yeah, I forgot about it. So thank you,
Okay.
Asi, for showing the studio and
Pleasure,
showing
man.
your great workflows.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
very nice talking with you. I hope we will get back on the show soon.
Definitely.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
Amazing. It was a pleasure.
Everything is covered.
Okay, yeah, bye.
I can feel the air. I can see it. I can see all of